Hi, my name is Amanda Escamilla, and today we're going to be making buñuelos. Buñuelos is a wonderful dessert item that is typically eaten around Christmas time in different parts of Latin America, in Mexico, and in Texas for sure. It's something that is well liked, and you could certainly have it year-round as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with some of the ingredients here that we have. So we're going to start with flour that we have here. We're going to sift this flour and make sure to put it into a bowl, nice and sifted. We have 3 cups of flour. Okay, very good. So we have 3 cups of flour. We are going to add to this mixture, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so we have 1 tablespoon of sugar. We have 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we have 1 teaspoon of baking powder that we add into the sifter. So we take that and make sure it's nice and sifted. Want to make sure that it goes through. Perfect. So now that it's all combined together, what I like to do is just make sure that all the dry ingredients are well incorporated. So we have the flour, the salt, the sugar, and the baking powder all mixed together. So what I'm going to do at this point is start with the wet ingredients. The wet ingredients, we're going to need 2 eggs, which are cracked and put into this bowl, right like this. Okay, and so now we're going to add the melted butter right into the eggs. And we have a 1/2 cup of water. So we want to make sure that that's mixed well before we get started with putting the dry ingredients. So we're going to go ahead and start that. Okay. So while that's going, I'm going to add a little bit of the dry ingredients to it as it goes. So a little at a time will do fine. And if you have to, you can just scrape the sides. But it doesn't look like we have to so far. All right, so now it looks like it's been well incorporated. You want to make sure your dough is nice and stiff and that it's not very sticky. And I've also have on the table here, I put some flour, so they're going to roll it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our dough. Okay. Okay. And what we want to do is take the dough and we're gonna roll it onto this surface. Okay, perfect. A little extra flour is going to be very helpful for the buñuelos. It'll absorb any of the extra moisture in this dough to help produce a much crispier buñuelo, which is what we want. So now that we just rolled it out, it does not have to be perfect, but we've rolled it out. And now you want to make little balls, basically, and small ones. I would say they're probably about 2 or 3 inches in diameter, the most. Maybe smaller if you'd like. It just depends, really. But if you do them smaller, it's nice because you have a little more control of the dough when it's cooking in the oil. So I like to typically do maybe about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches in diameter. So we're going to do this. We're going to let it sit. Once we get these all rolled up, we're going to go ahead and let these sit for about 20 minutes or so. So we're going to go ahead and start to roll them out. We're going to roll them out nice and thin as if we were making tortillas. But instead, we're going to make sure to roll them out really thin. So typically what I like to do is go from the middle out, pick it up, turn it around, and do it again. Just like you would make flour tortillas. Except here, we're trying to accomplish a very thin tortilla. And in the meanwhile, I have some oil in a pan that's getting hot at 375, which is what we're going to put these buñuelos in. Okay, so once they're kind of thin. You can see that they're very thin. I like to set them aside so that what's going to happen is some of the moisture, again, still is going to be pulled out of here. It'll dry it up a little bit better, and it'll produce a better buñuelo once it's fried. I'm going to go ahead and roll out as many as I can, and then we're going to let them sit, like I said, for a few minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and deep fry them in oil that is heated at 375. Once you put the dough in the oil, you want to make sure that it gets nice and golden brown on one side. You're going to see bubbles coming up, and that's a great sign. You just want to make sure that they get nice and brown on one end, and then you're going to flip it so that it gets golden brown on the other. Once the other side is nice and golden brown, we pull it, we'll remove it, we'll drain it, and then we're going to toss it in sugar and cinnamon immediately thereafter. All right, now we have all the buñuelos. We've fried them up. We tossed them in sugar and cinnamon, and we typically like to stack them up right in the middle of the table so you can grab them as soon as you can and have a great time. Enjoy them. You can have them today as soon as they come out, or you can have them the next day. Whatever you do, I think you'll enjoy them.